Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Overtime here on WOTM. I'm Gerhard Mathangani, joined by our normal Wednesday night partner, Mark Everett back in the house. And we have a good show today for you. And one of the biggest things that we're going to talk about today is some of the research that Mark has done as it relates to some of the things in baseball replays. We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll also dive deep into the Atlanta Braves. And we'll also talk Auburn and Alabama's upcoming A-Day games. We also have a special segment for the end of our show. But Mark, we'll start with some big news out of the NCAA today. The NCAA Division I Council has now announced a new transfer rule that will kind of probably, I think in a lot of ways, change not only football, but college sports in general. In essence, what this transfer rule policy has done is make it a one-time free to transfer anywhere you want to within Division I for any sport across the board. Now, it used to be where you could only transfer. You leave a school and you transfer and you're eligible immediately. That would only be if you had a special waiver by grant from the NCAA or you're a graduate transfer. There's also some small scenarios here and there. This now makes it across the board where college athletes can go from one school to another school within Division I and play immediately. How much do you think this will impact college sports for the immediate future?
I think this goes along with everything else we're seeing, is that college is turning into more of a pro arena. And some of these other colleges, whether you're in a low-level Division I school in basketball, say you're at Jack State basketball, or if you're like at Georgia Tech. I don't want to make fun of Georgia Tech, but say you're not competing for a national championship every year or for your conference championship in the Big 12 or Pac-12, you look like as kind of a minor league. Yeah. So it's these guys can go, and if they're not getting the attention they want to get out of high school, they can go to one of those colleges where they can play and prove themselves, and then maybe they'll be ready for the big time, kind of like what a junior college used to be.
Right.
So to me, it's just another way of doing that. And I mean, I really don't know what to think. The whole process of transferring was based on a number of different factors that no one really understands. There could be financial considerations, there could be hardships, there could be whether you have, you got not treated fairly by the administration where you were. So it was up to the NCAA. I'm for all the power being taken out of the NCAA's hands.
Yeah.
Because I don't like what they do. I think they're a corrupt organization overall. Now, maybe they're, not the institutions, but as a whole, I think the way they set up the system leads to corruption.
Right.
And this is another way of, we're going to have some of these players be paid. We're going to have some of the athletes that have big names be able to make money off of that, which I think they should be able to if it's their name. So this is just kind of another change to help forward that and to make that a little bit easier. And then if I don't believe if you're somewhere you don't want to stay there, you should be able to leave without that much of a penalty. Sometimes giving away a year when you're 19, 20, and then you're going to lose that year if you intend to be a prospect, that could really have a big effect on you. But I just think, like everything else, this is just a new way of moving forward, where college athletics is becoming more and more like pro athletics, and some of these lower level Division I colleges are going to be treated as junior colleges.
Exactly, and I think that where I think we'll see some of the most interesting things is, let's just say that you are at a Arkansas State, or you're at a non-Power 5. You make enough of a splash in your freshman or sophomore year to get recognized by one of the Power 5 schools, and they have an opening because their quarterback, their receiver, their second baseman, their power forward is about to go to the next level, and now you see a starting role. What I think ends up happening is you have coaches at some of these schools will have to re-recruit their own players over and over again, and that's where I think. I don't want to call it, I don't want to call it a bad thing for college sports, because I'm all for and favor of just freedom. I'm for and favor of freedom just in general, whether it's the free market or an athlete being able to kind of control their own destiny. However, I can see some issues being problematic in there overall. It should be worth noting that the ACC and the Mid-American Conference, as well as the American Athletic Conference, they've already done away with their interconference rules as far as you have to sit out a year if you're going from one ACC school to another ACC school, and there's other certain qualifications and other certain things that will go on in these situations. NCAA is expected to make this official coming up tomorrow, so we'll have that coming up tomorrow. Meanwhile, coming up this Saturday on a different note as it relates to college and college football, Jacksonville State announcing today that they will hold an official watch party coming up on Sunday. That is Sunday at 10:30 a.m. That is for the FCS Playoff Selection Show. You can catch that on ESPNU if you're not able to go to the house, but Pete Matthews Coliseum is where all Jacksonville State fans are encouraged to go. Admission is free. Also, keep in mind, first-round tickets are available, but it should be worth noting JSU does not know for sure if they're playing a home game right now or not. More than likely, it looks to be that the way that everything is playing out, that they might possibly be able to get a home playoff game in the first round. We'll find out for sure on Sunday at the selection show, but I know a lot of JSU fans have to be really excited knowing that they're in the playoffs, just finding out who and where they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like NCAA basketball where you have Selection Sunday. This is a way of everybody getting together. You know you're in, so where are you going to be?
Exactly. So JSU will find out if they're one of the 8 teams that will be hosting a playoff game coming up this week. They already are on the preliminary list of teams released by the NCAA a little bit earlier this week. So that JSU watch party is this Sunday morning, 10:30 on ESPNU at Pete Matthews Coliseum. Well, coming up next here on Overtime, both Alabama and Auburn are getting ready for their spring games this upcoming weekend, getting to show a national audience what they look like. We'll break down the Tide and Tigers right before the spring game coming up next year on Overtime.